For number 5, we already have a like denominator, so we can simply add our whole numbers. 1 plus 7 is 8, and then add our numerators. 3 plus 5 is 8, and our denominator remains the same. So we have 8 and 8/7. So once again, we have 8 and 8/7, an improper fraction here. So we're going to go ahead and take this improper fraction that we have, and we are going to use it as a division problem. So fraction's a division problem. So we're going to do 8 divided by 7, which goes in 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract, we get 1/7. So 8/7 is the same as 1 and 1/7. So therefore, 8 and 8/7 is 8 and 1 and 1/7, which equals 9 and 1/7. So if we have 8 whole ones, and then we have 8/7, 7/7 would make another whole one, so that gives us our 9 whole ones, and the other 7th is left over, so 9 and 1/7. For number 6, once again, we have a like denominator, so we can just write that over. So we're just going to add our numerators. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 6/8 is a proper fraction, but it has a common factor of 2. So that means we can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, and we're going to get 6 divided by 2 is 3, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 3/4 is lowest terms. For number 7, we're going to subtract. This adding and subtracting must have like terms. So for 4 and 3, our least common denominator is going to be 12. So we're going to change those to 12s. The whole numbers will remain the same. And then we have to find our new numerators. So we could go ahead right now and even put 12 as our denominator for our answer, because then we're just working with the numerators. So it'd be 4 times 3 for 12. So do the same thing, times 3 and get a 9. And this would be times 4. So we'd multiply the numerator times 4 and get 4. So we can do 9 minus 4, and that gives us 5. And then the 2 minus the 1 gives us 1. 1 and 5/12, and 5 and 12 are prime to each other. So they do not have a common factor. For number 8, once again, we need a common denominator or a like denominator, because adding and subtracting have to be like terms. So sometimes students know 6 times 4 is 24, and they use 24 as a common denominator, but we're going to use the least common denominator, the least common multiple. So that would be 6, 12, and 4, 8, 12. So 12 is the least common denominator. So we're going to go ahead, and we can just go ahead and put that right in our answer, because those are all the same. So now all we have to do is simplify it down to working with the numerators. So to get to 12 from 6, we multiply by 2. So we do the same thing for the 5 and get a 10. And the 4 to get to 12 is 4 times 3. So we do 1 times 3 and 3. So then we just have to work with our numerators. 10 minus 3 is 7. And 7/12, it's proper, and it is lowest terms. For number 9, we already have a like denominator, so we can just write that over. So now all we're really working with here is, and this is the reason that we get a common denominator, is all we're working with is just 5 minus 1. So 5 minus 1 gives us 4. So now we take a look at 4/6. It's a proper fraction. The numerator is smaller than the denominator, but they are both even, which means they are both divisible by 2. So we're going to divide 4 divided by 2 to get 2, 6 divided by 2 to get 3, and that's lowest terms, 2/3. So for number 10, we have to have a like denominator because we combine only like terms. Some students, once again, might say 24 or 32, but if we go with 8, we have 8, 16, 24, 4, 8. As we can see, 8 is the least common denominator. Using the smaller numbers usually makes the problem easier to work. The whole numbers are fine. We just put those in. Then we have 7/8 will remain 7/8. And then once again, 4 times 2 to get to the 8. So 3 times 2 is 6. So we have 6/8, 7 and 6/8 minus 3 and 7/8. We cannot do 6 minus 7. So we're going to need to regroup over here. So we have 7 whole ones. We're going to take one of those whole ones. So now we're going to have 6 whole ones. That one that we took away, so 6 plus the one we took away make our 7. The one we're going to cut into 8, which is our common denominator, 8. So once again, our common denominator is 8, so we're going to make that into 8/8. 8/8 equals 1. And so now we have 8/8 plus 6/8, which equals 14/8. Okay? So we have 6 and 14/8. So now, numerator minus numerator, 14 minus 7 is 7, and 6 minus 3 is 3, and of course our like denominator remains the same, 3 and 7/8.